Very good. Welcome. This is CSL Boulder Valley's Zoom Church, my slang term for us getting together on Zoom. And I do a slideshow and a talk, and then we get together afterwards. And the community comes together in this beautiful chat room, this beautiful congregation coming togetherness. So if you're new to CSL Boulder Valley, welcome. And we have two in-person services a month, and we have two Zoom church services a month. And if you're interested, you can go to CSLBoulderValley.org and sign up for the newsletter. That's a great way to stay in the loop with us. So I am going to pray us in, and then I'll start a slideshow. So I invite you to start that process of breathing. If you're comfortable, shut your eyes. And as I start breathing, it wakes something up inside of me. And it's different from prayer to prayer, day to day. And this something is often an energy. It's a connection to divine beauty. And I invite you to take a big old breath and connect with whatever's inside of you. Everyone has beauty or presence or oneness or whatever your particular flavor is. This is the foundation, my internal connection and your internal connection. This is the foundation for the prayer. I give great thanks. I say thank you. I say thank you for this beautiful thing called Centers for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley. And I say thank you for Centers for Spiritual Living across the planet. CSL is international. And I'm grateful that we have this welcoming technology. Our arms are wide open to all beings. We are a welcoming community. And I'm grateful for this. I bless each being here. I invite each being on this call, whether it's live or you're watching the recording, I invite you to breathe and notice the beauty that you are. Not only the divine beauty inside of you, but you as a human being walking on the earth plane. I invite you to love yourself. That's the context for growth and development, is loving ourselves first. And behind all this prayer is the one mind. It's a mixture of love and law. Law is that beautiful structure that has granted this prayer even before I uttered one word. And love moves through that structure and empowers it and says yes to it. And I release this prayer into that beautiful mixture of love and law. And I invite us to say together, and so it is. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and set up the talk here. Make sure I share my sound as well. And then I'm going to reduce the size of this. I'm going to go ahead and start the talk, start the screen sharing with a beautiful song and video of our community.
This is is our place. Come on in. Our place, so glad you're here. Our place, everybody's welcome. We see God on every face. Love lives here in this place. Welcome to our place, our sweet place.
If you've just arrived, welcome. This is CSL Boulder Valley Zoom Church, and I'm going to give a short talk and do a slide presentation. This talk is called Living a Sacred Life, Perception Unfolding. See, as human beings, we are meaning-making machines. The way our brain and our mind works is that we're constantly making meaning out of things. We're constantly having perceptions or judgments about things. And this happens consciously and unconsciously. So we're going to talk about this. Humans have many different domains or areas of operation. Another way of talking about these are perception zones. Brene Brown talks about these as places we go. Some examples of these are when things are uncertain or too much is one place we go. When we compare, when things don't go as planned, when things aren't what they seem, and when we're hurting and being vulnerable. Places we go are perceptions or meaning places, structures inside of us. The CSL Boulder Valley Book Club, we meet every 2 weeks, is reading Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. Several people have talked about the power of being able to notice. Change the screen a little bit there. Maybe it works a little bit better. Interrupted myself there. So as we're reading this book, several people have talked about the power of being able to notice the places we go or our perceptions and the associated emotions and patterns with these places that we go to. At one point, someone in the book club was sharing about their childhood. And as they were sharing, they were super vulnerable. You could feel it like they had just dropped into being totally present. And as this person was sharing, I looked up at the screen and people were mesmerized. People were just blown away by the vulnerability from this person. See, that person was trusting the space and trusting us. And those are perceptions or fields of perceptions. And when we move into being vulnerable and trusting, it cracks open ourselves. It cracks open all people around us. People feel it. People know it. When we get vulnerable, we get real, and we trust the space. So I saw this meme, or this, there's another word for it. I forgot, a fancy word that starts with a T. But as I saw this, it was like, oh, this is part of my talk. See, as we shift our focus from the past or the future, and we shift our focus into the present moment, all possibilities arise. Literally, we have our fingertips on anything that we want to create, anything that we want to have move from deep inside of us and gift outside of us. So this concept gets talked about all the time, and it's super supportive to revisit it. Our internal place of judgment, or ego, is hardwired. It thinks we will die if we don't have our attention on the past or the future. So having a daily spiritual practice that has our attention move from judgment and the past and the future into being present in the moment actually shifts and creates neurochemicals in our brain. Buddhist priests have been studied with EKGs, and literally their brain chemistry shifts from a lower level to a higher level And as this higher level of consciousness flows through them, they have extraordinary quality of life shift. It's interesting because I've actually watched videos on YouTube and I've experienced it myself. As the brain waves shift to higher frequencies, everything slows down. Sometimes there's this luminous experience of light around all things. Sometimes a luminous experience of light coming from deep inside of us flows. Well, this beauty happens when we practice meditation and contemplation, whether we take, walks in nature. However you access that present moment is a beautiful gift to yourself and all people around you. So another perception is a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. A growth mindset is all about freedom. See, we persevere in the face of failures when we have a growth mindset. Effort is required to build new skills. We find inspiration in other people's successes. We embrace challenges. We accept criticism. We desire to learn, and we build our abilities when we're inside freedom, when we're inside growth. So one of the things that happens in this culture, and maybe other cultures on the planet, but for sure this one, is that we're bombarded with messages about staying the same, or we're bombarded with messages about, having to have the latest toy. We're bombarded with materialism. And all of these things like foundationalize being limited or staying fixed. Some of the things that happen when we're fixed are we avoid challenges and we tend to give up easily. We're threatened by other people's success. We have a desire to look smart or look good. Looking good is a huge piece in this culture. What's the makeup industry? How many billions of dollars a year is it? Or men, how many things are marketed to men about being more manly? Yeah, so a fixed mindset is forwarded by looking good or looking smart. We often get resigned and we think effort is fruitless. We ignore feedback. When someone coaches us, we don't take the coaching. And our abilities stay the same. See, when we have that fixed mindset, that machine in our head, that automatic machine stays fixed, and we're not moving forward, we're not taking classes or whatever, our skills and abilities are static. Dr. David Hawkins, in many of his books, spoke about as we do our work and our consciousness increases, there's a synergistic unification and flow that takes place. As the perception moves from the automatic machines of our egos and dances with the intrinsic beauty at the core of who we are, life is so much more simple and so much more beautiful. Rumi says, what you seek is seeking you. Rob Wergen talks about it this way. The low vibrational energies of fear, worry, and panic cannot exist where there is the high vibrational energies of unconditional love, joy, compassion, gratitude, and abundance. Sage teachers throughout the millennia have talked about this. Dr. David Hawkins has this beautiful work. It's called The Map of Consciousness. And one of the scales on this map of a consciousness goes from 0 to 1,000. And at 200, there's a tipping point. And on this scale, it's about emotions, And when we're above 200 on that scale, we're inside of compassion and gratitude and abundance. When we slip below 200, we're down in the vibrations of fear and worry. It's so powerful to be able to notice our perceptions and our emotions. When we embrace vulnerability and we share powerfully, when we slip above 200 on that map of consciousness, our quality of life skyrockets. So another tool for noticing those automatic machines or perceptions is courage. It takes courage to shift. It takes courage to shift from a stuck mindset to a growth mindset. One definition of courage is taking action in the face of fear. See, as humans, we quite often get locked down, we freeze, or we run away. And being courageous is a powerful access to taking that baby step into the next beautiful piece of our life. There are 6 types of courage. Physical courage, keep going with resiliency, balance, and awareness. Social courage, to be yourself unapologetically. Moral courage, doing the right thing, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. Emotional courage, feeling all your emotions, positive and negative, without guilt or attachment. Intellectual courage, to learn, unlearn, and relearn with an open and flexible mind. Spiritual courage, living with purpose and meaning through a heart-centered approach towards all life and towards ourselves. So how are you noticing perceptions? Are you noticing the automatic machines in your head? Are you willing to be courageous and take the next step? Noticing and being responsible for perceptions, mindsets, or the frameworks that we live our lives inside of can be a profound shift in the quality of our lives. Our internal sunlight moves out from behind the clouds and blesses us. So CSL Boulder Valley has been doing a 6-week program for prosperity. It's called Unexpected Income. And this is week 5. It's called Living in the Divine Flow. We have all often smiled or laughed at the statement, "Denial is not a river in Egypt," which is a play on the River Nile, of course. At times, we may be living in denial of the abundance that is our natural state. We may be in a place of onlyness, or I only have this much, and it's not enough for fill in the blank. We live in the divine flow of abundance all the time. A fish in the sea can never lack for water. We live in the sea of God's substance and can never experience lack once we become aware of it and embrace it and practice it. Before you attempt to raise money, the first step should be to raise consciousness, to recall that it is not really for lack of abundance that you're experiencing want, but for the lack of awareness of the ever-present reality of divine substance and the faith to shape it into manifest form. That's from Eric Butterworth's book, Spiritual Economics. This week, focus your awareness on the reality that you're always living in the divine flow, affirming your affluence. Remember the definition from week 3? Affluence equals abundant flow. Here's the affirmation for this week. I establish myself in the limitless divine flow of the substance of spirit and my infinite prosperity. I tell you what, I'm going to pray after we do our conversation about offerings. Part of this coaching program that we're doing is unexpected income. And what that is a mindset. See, when we're looking for unexpected income in all sorts of different domains, not just, money coming to you, maybe it's your uncle or somebody that's going to come visit and he brings you out to dinner. See, we're surrounded by unexpected income all the time. And as we shift our perceptions and our mindsets into being open to the unexpected income, it starts to cascade through all of us. It starts to cascade through all of our life. So this is the opportunity to contribute to CSL Boulder Valley. And this contribution might not be money. Maybe the contribution is you want to start volunteering for our in-person services, or I don't know, you want to start hosting the monthly movie or meeting night at Pat and Howard's. See, there's lots of ways to contribute. I invite you to open up your heart and contribute to CSL Boulder Valley. Let's say our offering affirmation together. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. There's many different ways to contribute money to CSL Boulder Valley. You can do it online, you can text, you can mail it, you can use something on your phone called Tithely, or you can bring a check to our in-person services. All this information is on the bottom of our newsletter and on our website as well. I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share, and then I'm going to do a prayer. Whew. So let's drop into this present moment. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. I give great thanks that we have this group of people that comes together called CSL Boulder Valley. I'm grateful that people are hungry for growth. People are hungry for community. People are hungry to contribute to themselves first and all people around them. I'm grateful for this. See, Centers for Spiritual Living, not only Boulder Valley, but across the planet, models for people this ability to be hungry for growth. There's classes that are offered, and I'm grateful for these. We're going to have a community conversation in just a minute. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for this technology called Zoom, where we can come together and hang out and open our hearts and be vulnerable and share. I'm grateful that each being here and every being that's going to watch this recording has the invitation on the table to practice noticing their perceptions and to shift into higher consciousness. When we shift into higher consciousness, it gifts us first, and it gifts all people around us, and it gifts the planet. And I'm grateful for this. I release this prayer into that beautiful combination of love and law, and I invite us to say together, and so it is. So now is the time when I invite people to